if Lois died, Superman would succumb to the anti-life, of course, right? And if Superman knew that somehow it was Bruce's responsibility to protect Lois, he would have been mad at him in this movie, right? Like, so that's why he says, she was my world and you took her from me. So that was sort of and then of course, he has to jump back. And the other thing that we were working on was this idea that Cyborg said to Bruce in the distant future, like, there's two windows. We had come up with this time traveling concept where basically the way the time traveling window worked is that it's not awesome physics and doesn't make any sense, but that you had to do a time jump when the Earth was in relatively the same spot, right? Because if you did a time jump and the Earth wasn't like in the same position in space, you would jump into space and just be like dead. And so, okay, so there's always like, so they had two windows, right, to do the jump. And Cyborg says, like, which of these two windows do you think we should use? And Bruce was like, well, what window would you have put me through if you didn't ask? And he's like, this one. And then he's like, use the other one. Because that one you already did, and it was the wrong one. Barry Allen was in my freaking Batcave yelling at me about, like, nonsense. So you need to put him through that other one, because that's the one that will... Because he had to jump right before Darkseid boom tubes into the Batcave to murder Lois, so you have to, like...
No protectors here. This world will fall like all the others.
I had a dream. It was the end of the world.
They said the age of heroes would never come again.
It has to.
Oh, awesome.
Don't engage alone. We'll do this together.
Each of us, in some way, is held back.
This is crazy.
Made him promise. That's why I brought you together.
Mostly, I think we're all gonna die.
Superman was a beacon to the world. He didn't just save people. He made them see the best parts of themselves.
On my lead.
Fighting the devil in his army in hell.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Hey guys, thought I might crash your little watch party.
I have a question that is the mother of all our questions as a fandom. When will you release the Snyder Cut?
There it is.
Yes.
There it is. It's a hard question. I don't know. What do you think, Henry?
I reckon you should show it.
We're doing it. So get ready.
So it's been a few days now since we found out, or at least since you guys found out. I already told you this literally 6 months ago that HBO Max was going to be bringing the Zack Snyder Justice League. So I told you so. Just like when I'm going to say Man of Steel 2 is also coming. Henry Cavill's literally already signed it or is just about to sign it. But that is going to be a video that we've already recorded that I'll post after this video. So what is the Snyder Cut? It's a very interesting movie and very interesting how the tonal tone changed. From the first Justice League trailer, no lanterns, the lanterns have fallen, no protect, all these kind of buzzwords that was in trailer 1 of the Justice League. And then you get to Justice League trailer 3, the final trailer, and everything changes. So what is interesting here is I'm seeing a lot of convoluted, misinformed stories, videos. What is Justice League Snyder Cut? People saying they supported it when they clearly didn't support it. Now that everyone's jumped on it when they weren't making content on it years ago, or even 6 months ago, or even 3 months ago, or even a month ago. So what is interesting is we're just going to tell you what the Snyder Cut really is. And also if there is reshoots, because there's a lot of misleading information out there. Do you really think that Zack is going to reshoot the whole movie? No, because he doesn't need to. Because his cut, he has enough footage to make it 4 to 6 hours long. He might do some additional tweaking, but mainly it will be VFX work, CGI, and possibly dialogue. Although some people who have the verification tick seem to think differently. So, Batman vs Superman Nightmare sequence. The truth is, that is probably the greatest comic book scene ever. The Nightmare scene. That was Zack's idea. Speaking at a director's cut panel at the Art Center College of Design, Snyder revealed to a packed panel how the Nightmare scene future was a glimpse of what was to come. I might include it in this video, but it might get really long. So what he had to say was the following. We would end up in the distant future where Darkseid had taken over the world, where Superman had scrambled to the anti-life equation, and there was a few members of the Justice League that survived to the world, and they were fighting Batman and a half-broken Cyborg. There were only half of them because of what happened. They were working on an anti-equation to jump back and tell Bruce those were the things that they were dealing with. And the studio, they were still sort of into the big look, but the deep depth about how and why everyone was mad at each other. It's very interesting. He continued and revealed that the flash warning to Bruce Wayne about Lois Lane being the key to the century of the future. Because Lois, and it's just a Justice League teaser, it wasn't in the movie apparently. It's the line where Bruce says, "I was right, and Barry Allen came to me and said, Lois Lane is the key." And then Wonder Woman goes, "She is," to Superman. "Every heart has one." And he goes, "I think it's something more. I think it's something darker." And what it means is the last thing that was darker was all about if Lois Lane died, which she would have died in the Snyder Cut. And a lot of people won't really tell you this because they haven't even bothered to watch the conference, the panel, when Zack Snyder literally tells you exactly what the Snyder Cut is. So yeah, let's just break it down so you guys can understand it. So basically what was going to happen was Bruce had to jump right before Darkseid boom tubed in and to the Batcave to murder Lois. Yes, of course, Warner Bros. Brought Joss Whedon in to reshoot, and he did reshoot it. There's still a lot of convoluted people online coming out with ridiculous things. Joss Whedon, 80 pages. 80 pages. And to be fair, it's not really his... Well, okay, it is his fault. So to speak. So yeah, what is going to happen is we're just going to get the sequel to Batman vs Superman, Justice League. Because if you watch Batman vs Superman, the extended cut or any cut of it, then you realise that the Justice League theatrical cut isn't the sequel to this. Now, it is pretty different because, like I said, there's 4 to 5 hours of footage. Now, apparently, why the movie got scrapped in the first place wasn't anything to do with what happened to his daughter. Apparently, Warner Bros. Deemed the movie unwatchable according to sources. The movie was around 2 hours and 15 minutes. And we're never going to confirm that, but basically they didn't like it. Now, we know the movie was supposed to open with an ancient war history. It has been said that Snyder's vision was much longer and possibly had dialogue from Steppenwolf. Diana then visits a shrine which has ancient paintings of Darkseid and his parademons coming from the sky, confirmed via a leaked photo and post on Zack Snyder's Vero. So we know this already. We know Darkseid was in it. We know Ray Porter was the voice actor. And I don't even know why people are talking about Darkseid being in his cut, because he was in the original cut that was never shown. They do not need to cast Darkseid. It's already recorded. We just need the VFX, the CGI, and the ADR doing. I mean, there might be some new dialogue scenes, but that's about it. Everyone seems to think that Ben Affleck's coming back, that Henry Cavill's going to reshoot new scenes. No, because it's already been done. Snyder Cut explains the lore behind the mother boxes. Darkseid and Steppenwolf are related. Darkseid had his mother Hagra, a god imprisoned inside the mother boxes. And this was also going to coincide with the Suicide Squad original story, because the Suicide Squad original David Ayer cut is essentially the prequel to the Justice League movie, and it set everything up. Hence the name and why Steppenwolf calls them Mother. The boxes are sort of conscious, meaning the choice to create Cyborg wasn't random. The scene of Cyborg controlling the entire supply of world's missiles and nukes, tossing them into the ocean. It's possible Cyborg had also inadvertently taken out military satellites also. This would explain why no military was involved or detected Steppenwolf in Russia when he starts the Unity. This could also explain why Hagra created him. He has free will after the events, but these actions made sure the Unity process would not be disturbed by the nuclear military strikes, confirmed via leaked footage and unfinished VFX. After Step takes the boxes from Atlantis, Mira and Arthur visit Volko. Arthur asks for a weapon and armor. There was likely some debate about helping surface dwellers. Jason Momoa confirmed there was way more scenes of him and Mira underwater. So like I said, guys, the actual Snyder Cut is 4 to 5 hours long, and this is just the details that Zack said. Cyborg learns more of the details about the boxes. The team has a big meeting, and this is where most of the details about them are shared. Diana also explains Darkseid. You know your boy Darkseid from Apocalypse, who we never get to meet, who essentially wants the anti-life equation and wants to do everything, you know, Omega beams, yeah, him. Who Steppenwolf is, etc. Bruce talks about his dream of the world ending. Confirmed in the trailers, an evil Superman. Bruce says the future is still possible, and Step may use the box to bring him back and turn him. Team decides they have to break into Star Labs and revive meaning Superman, before Steppenwolf got to do that. And also, they're going to change how Steppenwolf looks. He's going to look freaking crazy. He's going to look scary. So it's interesting. Bruce sends the team to get Clark. We see footage of a road trip to Smallville with some humor between Barry and Arthur. You remember the Smallville scene in the movie we got? Yeah, that was Joss Whedon. That was whole Joss Whedon. And we wouldn't have got the awkward kind of Barry Allen falling on top of Wonder Woman. That would never happen, because to the point to where Gal Gadot would refuse to do that, and a stunt double had to do it. That scene was freaking ridiculous. We get it, Barry Allen's clumsy, but not that clumsy. He was in Suicide Squad, so he's not being the Flash for the first time. Batman breaks into Star Labs. This explains why Bruce is absent from getting Clark's body. Whedon cut the whole Star Labs Batman break-in. He also cut the road trip to Smallville and replaced it with just Victor and Barry digging up Clark. Some leaked footage in the video above shows a different team meeting. Yeah, they've cut that much. Like I said, 80 pages is literally a new movie. Literally. Snyder and some people mentioned that Steppenwolf was exiled from his failure to take Earth, and he is desperately trying to either clear his name or get his revenge on Darkseid. Anyone trying to get the Darkseid revenge is stupid, because Darkseid could take out Thanos without even trying. Guys, at me down below, if you don't read comics, you will think Thanos could take out Darkseid, but that just wouldn't happen. This angle was scrapped, making Steppenwolf seem such a simple bad guy. It's possible that he was trying to break out his mother of the box to kill Darkseid, and that's probably what was going to happen, but Darkseid was going to kill him anyway. Or have the boxes and give them to the god killer Darkseid. Zack and some other tease his motivations and his motives. Before Zack left the project, they talked a lot about him being exiled from Apocalypse. Concept art shows Superman in the front of the whole league. Also, we're going to get the black Superman suit and the traditional blue Superman suit. Everyone walking forward together. There is leaked footage of this being confirmed. Superman is walking towards Steppenwolf, saying something, and there is heaps of wind blowing towards the team. According to Kevin Smith, Steppenwolf or his mother tried to persuade Clark to use telepath. His suit turns black, and he almost turns. We don't know much more about this. But what is interesting is, you know, the real cringe-worthy intro we got where Superman was saving a kid and they made his top lip look ridiculous. That never happened. Other cuts also include Dr. Stone discussing the boxes, which he calls change engine. He describes his theories on what they are doing with Dr. Chow at Star Labs, who's going to appear in the Snyder Cut. In the Whedon Cut, we just see Dr. Stone leaving the labs, confirmed via photos of Stone with Chow on Zack Snyder's video. All this can be verified in Zack Snyder's video, just look over them. Team talks Cyborg about his transformation. Cyborg shows a simulation of some sort to show them how he was before this accident, and there's a whole college football game that for some reason they cut out, which literally makes no sense. Following up with the crash, it's possible Cyborg's origin scene played back as a dream or a flashback, but it seems more likely it was Cyborg playing back the simulation. The footage is seen in the leaked VFX trailer footage of Victor playing football. Imagine putting all this footage in a trailer then cutting it out. I mean, technically that's kind of like misleading, which companies aren't allowed to do. Star Lab workers running from the tunnel battle Flash and Cyborg save them from falling debris. Whedon likely cut this because he wanted Flash to be a noob versus a more capable saving and punching the debris to pieces. Snyder's Flash was a bit more involved in the combat and was way cooler. In my opinion, Whedon also cut Flash pushing into Parademon into the wall during the tunnel battle for this reason. It also appears stating that Flash may have been punching and kicking Superman at super speed during the Justice League Supes Flash scene. This makes sense. Flash is absent for the whole fight until he decides to run past Superman. There is a reason Supes went after him, probably because Barry was getting those jabs in here. Confirmed via leaks, the trailer shows Victor shooting debris with people underneath it. So he literally cut most of the movie. And you know, like a lot of these people who are now like making YouTube videos and talking about it online, it's like, yeah, this was coming. No, you didn't believe all this, even though there's so much evidence, and there has been for years, about this kind of stuff. So it's ridiculous that now people are backtracking, peddling. Apparently Lois shows up in the Snyder Cut during the Justice League Superman fight. This is one area Whedon changed were better. It makes more sense for Bruce to have her on standby, considering the Flash warning in BVS, Lois is the key. So this is one change Whedon got right. I'm just reading this. I don't know if I agree with this. I actually don't agree with it. I also don't mind Whedon's redo of the League arguing over reviving Superman. Bruce Wayne says reviving him must be done, otherwise they don't stand a chance. We are reviving him because we think Steppenwolf will first and May Nightmare Dream, but I disagree with him cutting into the intro Alfred's banter and all of them lore about the boxes and Steppenwolf. If he cut the Russians out completely, we could have fit much more in. So what is interesting is there's massive differences between these two movies, mainly being the fact that we get a backstory on every single person. Martian Manhunter would have appeared, Green Lanterns would have appeared, the Darkseid fight at the start of the movie would have appeared. So much Iris West would have appeared, and that will appear in the Snyder Cut. So much was cut out. So all these ridiculous headlines saying Darkseid will appear. Of course Darkseid's going to appear. He was in Snyder's Cut. Darkseid was going to kill Lois Lane in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yes he was, guys. Yes he was. Which is very interesting. It really is. So this kind of breaks down exactly what the release of Snyder Cut is. If you've got any questions, let me know down below. It's not really that hard to understand. It's basically a complete new movie. And if you didn't like this movie they released, then you will like this. So what is interesting is our good friend Grace Randolph has said some information on Twitter, which I want to go over because, again, she's kind of right, but the way she says it. Even at TRH interview said additional photography. So we know Zachary Snyder is getting $20 to $30 million. But from all the information I've been told and we understand is that it's only dialogue because they already have 4 to 5 hours, if not more, of footage. I heard from another source, the word is Warner Bros. Wants Snyder to put stuff into the Snyder Cut to set up Man of Steel 2. Guys, Man of Steel 2 is coming. I've confirmed it. It's coming, just like I confirmed release of Snyder Cut was coming. So yeah, I do agree with this, and I am hearing rumblings that if this is successful, they will continue with the story arc, but the only issue is you got to get Ben Affleck back, etc. So it goes on to say this. We'll see if this happens, but that's what WB is thinking. But AT&T have control. They really don't care. They give the fans what they want. I don't even think Warner Bros. Runs the show. Snyder also spent April and this month reacting and reaching out to sizable cast, giving a heads up on the new development and letting them know their services may be needed. The first person he called was Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg. He was like, "You're kidding me, right?" Recalls the director. It's pretty cute because Ray Fisher started crying when he found the news out and he revealed it. It's pretty cute because he was supposed to have his solo movie that got cut completely, which is completely random, and I don't know why they cut his solo movie out, probably because he didn't get a big story arc in obviously the Justice League movie. That's probably why. So the release of Snyder Cut isn't really that hard to understand, but that is pretty much justification of most things that happen. It still would have had some of the same fight scenes. Steppenwolf still would have been there, but everything would have looked aesthetically pleasing. Everything would have looked different. There would have been much more backstory, much more setup. The complete VFX mess up would not be there. Henry Cavill would have came back with a massive beard. They wouldn't CGI his chin out. It just made no sense, guys. So that is why I've been, on the hype for this. Because I've known this is coming for such a long time, like I keep telling you guys. But then some of you guys, if you guys find a video, say, "Oh my God, Warstu, you keep clickbaiting," and now you're all backtracking. Yeah, you're all backtracking, all of you. But at the same time, you could be like, "Well, you were just guessing. No, guys. I take every single video I post seriously. I was not guessing. So just like I say right now, Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill is 100% coming. I'll be posting a video tomorrow about why and how it's technically already been revealed without you guys even knowing. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. Do you think we're ever going to see the proper Snyder Cut? Which we won't, because essentially what happened was there was an original script with Chris and Snyder, but they weren't allowed to do this. So they had to rewrite the original script, so to speak. The original script before the one they actually did. So essentially the difference of the Snyder Cut is a tonal change. For some reason, Sweden, if you like, tried to make it brighter and more sensitive and added lots of cute scenes like Wonder Woman falling on top of Barry Allen, which literally makes no sense. And he cut out a lot of good scenes. I don't really get it, but to be honest, if you were in his foot, it's a really hard job that you had to do. But it's cool that we're going to get to see the real Snyder Cut. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.
Over here, Megan.
Hi, Zack. First, I just wanted to personally thank you for all the work that you're doing for suicide prevention. It's really important to me. And I guess I'm going to be the first person to throw out that awkward question about Justice League, which is basically...
Sure, what about it?
So, David Ayer...
Was it fun to make?
So David Ayer came out and...
David Ayer, okay.
He came out and he talked a little bit more about the early process, about how in Suicide Squad, originally, their villain was going to be Steppenwolf, and they're going to be fighting parademons and stuff like that, and he also released, and also you on Instagram released an image of Darkseid and stuff like that. So I guess my question is kind of, what the hell happened?
It's a good question.
And what was going to happen?
All right. It's a fair question. David's prize. I'm not sure about that what David's talking about with the. I mean, look, Steppenwolf's in this movie, which was anyway. I mean, you saw him in this movie, so how? Oh, Granny Goodness. Oh, it could have been Granny Goodness. That might have been cool. I don't remember him talking about that, but that could have been cool. Granny Goodness that's also crazy and fun. But yeah, so look, there was a lot of great conversations that I had with David about, even just getting our Batman in and getting our Flash in Suicide Squad to try and start doing that a little bit. But we were also not incredibly. We didn't want to go too crazy with it. At the same time, we were trying to be and the idea was that the different directors would kind of have their take, and we try and just support each other, so that it could mesh up, but at the same time not force anyone into like a decision maybe they didn't want to make, right? That makes, as best you can. It's hard sometimes because you're like, look, you know, I need Steppenwolf because he's the bad guy, one of the bad guys in this movie. So anyway, so those are the conversations that we had, and I thought that everyone was doing a really pretty good job as we went forward, and Patty was awesome because Patty, she had to take my photo, you know, and put it in her movie, and we had to work out how that happened because we had a placeholder photo for a long time that Steve Berkman, who is a teacher at this school and who shot both photos, took, because even before we had a script for Wonder Woman, you know, we weren't sure when that movie was going to happen and how it was going to happen, and so we had to, just based on our story, we had taken a picture of Wonder Woman in a ancient war with, you know, a team of soldiers, very similar to the one that ended up in her movie. Now, there was an actual story built around the one that she has in her movie, and so that was I thought that was that was like the best case scenario, right? So, what about it? You mean like how she used it or how it evolved? The Wonder Woman theme was written specifically for this movie, because when we wrote the theme for Wonder Woman in this movie, there wasn't a Wonder Woman movie yet. So you can imagine that. And then it was up to Patty whether she wanted to use it or not, right? And I think it's in the movie. So yeah, so she was like, yeah, cool. And I think Hans is doing now Wonder Woman 84. So that's a good relationship. That's nice. So that's, I think, the best case scenario for how the whole thing could work. And as far as, listen. No. What I was going to say is that, like, look, when this movie came out, understand that Chris Terry and I had finished the script for Justice League before this movie came out, right? So that script was done. Movie came out, and some people didn't like the movie. A vocal minority. And so I was asked by the studio to like say, hey, you can't, there's a lot of stuff we don't want you to do from that script. So we did a rewrite, right, of the script. So the original Justice League that Chris and I wrote, we didn't even shoot. I mean, there's a lot of it that we shot, but the actual idea, the hard idea, the scary idea, we never filmed because the studio was like, that's crazy. And we were so insecure at the time after this movie came out, we were just like, I guess it is crazy. Like, we're fucking nuts. Like, what are we, there's gonna be mass hysteria in the streets if we film this. Apparently.
Crazy. All right.
It's a long story. But suffice it to say, that, like, so look, the truth is that, you know, the nightmare sequence in this movie, right, was always my idea that all of that would be eventually explained, of course. I mean, is that a surprise? You know, that we would end up in the distant future where Darkseid has taken over Earth and where Superman has succumbed to the anti-life, and where he and now with his ragtag band, and there was a few members of the Justice League that had survived to that world, and that they were fighting to try and you know, so Batman's with the broken half a cyborg, because you know it's only half of him because of whatever happened. They were working on equation to jump Flash back to tell Bruce you know, obviously. You guys aren't surprised because you know this is what you. I've read it.
So now that you know this, don't tell anybody.
Nice. Anyway, so those were the things that we were dealing with, and not to say that the studio still, you know, they were still into sort of the big look, but the details of how and why everyone was mad at each other, or why that was the stuff where they were a little bit like, because, you know, Lois, you know, and it's in the little teaser where the Justice League teaser that wasn't in the movie apparently, where I guess where Wonder Woman says it's this line where Bruce says, "I was right here, and Barry Allen came to me and he said Lois Lane is the key," right? And then she goes, "He is the Superman. Every heart has one." And he goes, "I think it's something more, something darker," right? And what it means is that the thing that was darker was that, you know, it was all about if Lois died, Superman would succumb to the anti-life, of course, right? And if Superman knew that somehow it was Bruce's responsibility to protect Lois, he would have been mad at him in this movie, right? Like, so that's why he says, "She was my world and you took her from me." So that's that was sort of and then of course he has to jump back. And the other thing that we were working on was this idea that Cyborg said to Bruce in the distant future, like, there's two windows. We had come up with this time traveling concept where basically the way the time traveling window worked is that it's not awesome physics and doesn't make any sense, but that you had to jump, you had to do a time jump when the Earth was in relatively the same spot, right? Because if you did a time jump and the Earth wasn't like in the same position in space, you would jump into space and just be like dead. And so, okay, so there's always like, so they had two windows, right, to do the jump. And Cyborg says, like, what, you know, which of these two windows do you think we should use? And Bruce was like, well, what window would you have put me through if you didn't ask? And he's like, this one. And then he's like, use the other one. Because that one you already did, and it was the wrong one. Barry Allen was in my freaking Batcave yelling at me about, like, nonsense. So you need to put him through that other one, because that's the one that will, because he had to jump right before Darkseid boom tubes into the Batcave to murder Lois, so you have to, like, anyway, so that was the window that he had to hit. Anyway.
All right, so I'm just going to say that right there,
It's
easily
in the
worth
future.
another 100.